Hi, this is Leslie at Artistic Artifacts, back with another 5-minute feats. 5-ish minutes, we're going to have to say from now on. But today we're going to feature the number 10 foot. We have all of our selection here today in number 10. When you have a mechanical machine, you want to get the regular number 10. If you have a 4 series and above, you want to get the 10C because it is coded and it will recognize your foot. The next one is the 10D. If you have a 5 and above, you want to get the 10D because that is for the dual feed. Alrighty, today I'm working on the 590, and the 590 comes with an embroidery module. We'll go over all the machines at another point. It will take more than 5 minutes, but just to show you how easy it is to switch it out, you just pull that out and put in your Sew Steady extension table. If you don't have room for a big cabinet, you can always get a Sew Steady table. So, on to our samples. What I want to show you today is 3 different samples. We're going to start with the easiest one first. And this one is to hide those, when you have a facing or a collar or something that won't stay down, that is annoying, you can go in and make a regular seam, and then you want to stitch on top. Right? And it won't show on the other side. You won't be able to see the other fabric. This has a proper name that I can't think of right now, but we'll get to it. The next thing I want to show you is when you have a waistband and you want to make sure that the top, you stitch from the top so that you don't see the inside seam from the waistband. So we're going to show you how that's done. You have a regular seam, and you fold over your waistband, and you're going to go to the 10 foot, which has a guide, and all you have to do is put that guide in the seam, and we're going to do what's called a stitch in the ditch. Put my glasses on. And I'm going to put my heel on the presser foot, which drops the, I'm going to put that back up because it's not spot on where I want it. So I am going to put it spot on where I want it. Okay. So then what you do is you just stitch in the ditch. There you go. And when you're stitching that waistband on, it'll fall right in the seam. Okay, we'll stop there. Cut that off. And with a coordinating fabric, you won't be able to see that coordinating thread. You won't be able to see it like this is stitched on too. That is actually stitched on there. So it is stitched down. You'll be able to put your waistband on and use that stitch in the ditch. That's really good for a lot of quilting as well. Okay. Our next one is a little fancy, I have to say. If you are making a jacket and you don't want your raw edges to show, you can do what's called a Hong Kong seam. Okay? This one's a lot more complicated. So we're going to start by matching our seam allowances. We're going to find a bias strip. And if you make it a coordinating color, it makes it look that much better. You can do it in the same color, but the coordinating color makes it look better. So we're going to match our seam allowances. And what I've done here is I've moved the fabric to the edge of the toe. We're going to lower the presser foot. And this has a hover feature too, so you can move it around if it's not exactly where you want it. And the edge stitch shows you exactly where you're going to stitch. And I'm going to cheat it just a little bit to the right. So it's going to be 2 needle widths away from that blade. Alrighty. And we're just going to stitch away. Alright. In this right here. Okay. Understitching, that's what this is called. I had to go back. I was drawing a blank. That's called understitching, so that when you turn your fabric over, you won't be able to see it because you stitched it under. Okay, there we go. We got that. So what you do next is you press this. And because it's only 5 minutes, I don't have time to give it a proper press. I'd rather show you the actual stitching process. So I'm just going to fold it over. But pressing is just really key to this process. Okay, so now that I have it folded over, I'm going to bring that needle back to center. I'm going to lower my presser foot to make sure that the blade is right in that seam ditch between the two fabrics, and going to stitch along. Don't cheat this one. It will show. So you're going to just stitch away. Okay. We're going to cut here. And we have that stitch right in the ditch. When you have matching thread, it doesn't show. Okay? Then you go back and trim off the excess so that it looks nice and neat like this one does. Neat-ish. No one's ever going to see it. So you trim that off, and then you have a beautiful Hong Kong seam for your online jacket. Alrighty. Well, thank you for following us at artisticartifacts.com and following me on Textile Adventures of a Prima Donna, and there'll be more feet next week. All right, thank you.